I'm curious to know if some of you feel the same way I do when I'm starting my new farming season. Do you feel like you might have lost some of your farming skill over the winter? You feel like you're starting new, even though you've been doing it for a long time? You're always kind of wondering what you might get for this new year. Do any of you start with a bit of reluctance? Or are you always eager to get out into the fields? Hi there, welcome to my small farm. I'm Naomi, and please join me this season as I start my farming for the year. It's early March right now. You can tell behind me, I've got a bunch of fields to clean up, and I've got my high tunnels to clean up. I'm going to be working on some seeds pretty soon. I've got a few things started already, and I'll show you that. So if you'd like to learn a few tips or tricks for small-scale farming, I'm going to be sharing some of that this year with you, and you can learn how to make a modest income off of a small-scale farm. I go to a small farmers market once a week. Actually, it's quite a large farmers market. We've got about 160 vendors there, and that's how I make my living. So if you'd like to learn a few tips or tricks, or I get some new ideas for your small farm or your large garden, welcome to join me and see if you might learn a few new things. I think I might learn a few new things from those who are following along as well. I'm sure you have some experiences that I don't have, and I could learn a few things too. I have a small plot here behind me that's about 106 feet by 50 feet, and then another little bit right over here. You can see there's a couple rows. There's a row of rhubarb and another row that I put in there, usually cucumbers, or maybe this year I'll put something else in there. And then I have 3 high tunnels on my property as well, and use that for early production and summer production. I have a small farm that probably about 1/4 of an acre is in production, and I do primarily the work by myself. I do get a bit of help from my husband and a bit of help from a couple that comes and volunteers each week on the farm for a couple hours, and they help me out with some of the boring jobs like weeding and that sort of thing. And I help them out by giving them some vegetables in exchange. So I'm primarily a solo farmer and an older farmer too. I've turned 60 recently and trying to make some of the changes along the way to still be able to do what I do and make it manageable for myself. One of my priorities starting in the spring is cleaning up the things I didn't get done in the fall. And there's still quite a bit to do here. I've got to pull up my old strings from my tomatoes. I'm going to be switching around my houses this year. I like to try to do that every couple of years, and I'll be moving the tomatoes from this house into one of the others. And then I will be moving things around between the 3 houses. So I'm trying to avoid some of the pests and diseases that can follow those plants along, and also the nutrients that come from the soil that are used differently by the plants. So trying to have some rotation, even in a small plot like mine, is really important. So in my backyard, I have a little house. And in here, I have storage for various things that I keep, but I also have my little heat mats and lights, grow lights. Here's 4 trays of lettuce that I've started, except this one variety hasn't done well at all. Here I've got a little bit of kale coming up. I'll start some more of that. One other thing I want to do today is mix some soil so I can get some new seeds started tomorrow. I don't have a huge area to make a nice potting mix, but this works pretty good. I add some nutrients. I know some people don't, but I add my nutrients so everything gets a bit of something in the soil right away. Don't add too much, a little bit. I find with the nutrients that I add in away initially, I don't really need to add in much fertilizer or anything. It's a little ways down the road, so I'm not feeding everything right away because it's already in the soil. Well, I've got that soil mixed up. It'll be ready for tomorrow or the next day. Hopefully in the next couple of days, I'll get some more seeds done. Now off to another job. What are some of your goals for your year with your garden or your farm? I think one of my main goals is always the same. It's about trying to grow the best quality produce I can. Something that's a need and a desire for my customers. Something that's attractive and tastes good. Trying to do it as efficiently as possible. I still feel like I have a lot I could do better with that. Every spring I clean all the old debris off of the rhubarb. I just let it die. The old leaves and stems die back in the winter. And in the spring I like to break it up. I put that on the compost pile. Thanks for joining me today. That's just a small introduction into my small farm. Gives you a little taste of what might come. You'll soon see the greenhouses filling up. You'll soon see the field filling up. And all my trials and tribulations, successes, all those different things. I hope you'll like and subscribe, and please follow along if you feel that this will be a benefit to you. And until next time, thanks for joining me, and please take care.